Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Through Black and White Eyes. Sorry, it's been a little while that we've done a show, but unfortunately work just loves to get in the way, doesn't it? But we've got a lot to talk about, a lot to try and digest, a lot to try and work out and figure out why the run of results have been a run of draws. 11th of the season. It's a lot of draws. However, it's 17 unbeaten. So on the plus side, we've only lost one game. Very hard to grumble at that. But yeah, so let's just get the show on the road. We've got a lot to get through, a lot to talk about, and we've got an hour to do it all in. And please get the chat flying, get your thoughts in there, and try and keep up, I guess. Here we go. Hello, Gary. How's it going?
Not too bad, pal.
Good. We've got a lot to talk about, haven't we? I don't know where Mara is. He's decided to be late as always.
He tunes in.
Yeah, you know what he's like. There's the link if you want to become a member. We do have the Warren Barton signed Newcastle shirt to give away this month. That will be going to a lucky member. So 99p for a chance to win it. It's not bad. It's got all the tags on it. It's an old school top. So please consider becoming a member to have a chance of winning it. Evening, Roger. Evening, Leslie. Always good to see you both in the chat as well. Steve, hey, what's going on with the raffle tickets I paid for? Steve, I changed my phone and I didn't realize you had emailed because I haven't got my email set up on my phone yet. So I will send you some raffle tickets later tonight via email. It's a nightmare getting a new phone, Gary. It really is.
Oh, no, shit.
I transferred everything over. I just put my phone next to my phone, as you're supposed to do with iPhones. And transferred all the data over, and it hasn't transferred my passwords over to my email address for some reason. So
I was meant to get an upgrade months ago, but I'm just waiting for the August one because I can't be on.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Yeah, it's not cheap these days either. Evening, Davey. Evening, Leslie. The draw is March. I think the March draw is for the Alan Shearer testimonial shirt. So yes, it's definitely in there, and it's going to happen. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Facebook user. Yes, Steve. Like I've just explained, didn't know you'd emailed. You've emailed 2 email addresses I haven't got set up on my phone, and I only caught them when I went on my laptop, and I will sort it out for you. Good evening, people. Evening, Anne. Evening, Baz, and all. Hope it's good. I'm missing Love Island after sunrise. No, you're not, because Love Island starts at 9. So nice try. Good evening, Roy. Good to see you. And evening, Davey. You sure you're okay? I hope Davey's okay. Right. So we are here mainly to talk about the poor results, I guess, the run of form. So it was a 1-1 draw. A lot went wrong in that game, Gary. I can't quite put my finger on it. We just didn't seem to be at the races. Even though the stats look okay, we had all of the ball, but it felt like one of those performances that you watch England do, where they pass the ball around the back a lot.
I was out on Saturday night, couples night, right? But me and the lad had it on my phone, so
Brilliant.
we briefly watching it like while they were talking, and it first off was pish. Honestly, it was. But second half, a little bit better, but from what I've seen anyway. But I don't know. It's just, you know what it is, when Bruno was not in that team, it's just a different animal. Honestly, it is. And I wouldn't say it's bad, but it's a bit worrying how much we rely on Bruno, not at the back, going forward. And I just think he offers us so much. It's unbelievable. But he needs help, because obviously he's going to get injured. He's going to get suspensions, and going into next season, we need, whether it's Maddison or somebody like Bruno who can just give away a bit more, because the defence are still doing their job. Like Trippier's clearance off the line and so on. But
that was unbelievable, wasn't it? The instinct to get back there and do what he did. Because, it was right on the line.
Exactly. But I've been saying it all season. Yeah, I know we scored 4 against Villa and 5 against Brentford, whatever it was. But at times, I think our forward line has just let us down. And our defence has picked up points up this season from. And like when we had that 4 games where we scored 1 goal, it's just not good. It's a funny season for me because you cannot really be frustrated with it, but
No.
in a way, it's one of those where you're just thinking if we'd just done a couple of more things in January, because the rest are underperforming so badly, I think we would have got top 4. And I know we're still in it. I know we're still 2 points ahead, games in hands and all that. But, and you know, if we had like a Harry Kane, I think we would get top 4 with that side. But
oh, I mean, he's going to score goals in any team, isn't he?
And that's what we're missing. And I'm hoping Isaac's going to turn into that. I really do, and I think he will. But once again, I mean, it's probably not bad, but Wilson's injured again. It's just little things like that. And
brilliant. We took a little Bournemouth fan to the game when there was the cup game with Andy, and he's a nice little kid. He's obviously devastated that Trippier was on the line at that point.
Yeah.
It was just brilliant, though, wasn't it? Because it was just pure instinct for him to get there. And then he could have kicked it straight and he probably would have hit someone and it could have went back. He kicked it out to the side as well. Just everything was class from him, wasn't it?
Well, me and you got a bit, we got slated a couple of weeks ago when we said Dan Burn needs to be replaced at left back next season.
Yeah.
And it was proved at the weekend why Dan Burton needs to be replaced at left back this season.
Yeah.
And that's
probably his worst game, wasn't it?
There's nothing against Dan Burton, right? Absolutely nothing. He's first team. He's going to be at the club for the rest of his career, probably.
Yeah.
But he's cover for defence or his partner for Botman or whatever it is next season. He's not the bloody left back. No, he's not the future left back. And we need to sort that. Oh, I thought Liverpool were going to score. And he's not going to be our left back next season. And it got proved at the weekend. And I think I'm glad Miggy scored because
he's getting critics again, even though he's been making the same runs, he's been putting the same effort in, he's been doing everything right. Just we're missing Bruno.
But I think I've heard a few people saying that we've been found out. I don't think we have. I just think when Bruno was out the side, we just miss so much. It's just like we're just a different team when he plays. And have you got the stats? Have you got the stats for Bruno?
Yes, I'm going to put them all up later.
I'll not pull that one, but it just shows you how influential he really is, honestly.
For tickets to watch plays, there's so many places sold out already. It's mental. We've still got top 4. We'll kick on when Bruno comes back. I mean, there is that as well. We're still sitting in top 4. We've got a game in hand. I know it's against Arsenal, but it's Arsenal at home. And we've got, we can beat anyone at home in my eyes. Even without Bruno, we can still beat anyone at home. And I know, obviously, the stats don't really show that because we're a bit too slow. But we won games without Bruno last season. And we just need to work out how to do that again. And it's not that we're being found out. Like you said, Maxi's back now, which we're going to highlight soon. I'll just get through the chat. There's this software thing called WhatsApp is kind of good. Or DM if that's cool. WhatsApp's quality. Love Dan Burn, but he got found out. It was his worst. He nearly threw the game away with that touch on the left-hand side that led to Trippier's clearance off the line. I mean, I've never seen Dan Burn look that frustrated or, I don't know, he just lack of energy or something. Because when he took that touch, he kind of slumped, didn't he? It's like he gave up, and then the ball got stolen off him, and he crapped himself, didn't he?
I mean, after something I've tweeted out tonight, I'm like, Man United fans are probably gonna like keel out here, but the difference with them is they take 2 defenders off away to Leeds to rest them a bit, and they bring Maguire and put Luke Shaw centre back, and this is what we cannot do. We cannot afford to pull our best players out, because we haven't got the cover for them. And that's what we need to do next season. We need, I mean, look, some of them players on the bench just aren't good enough anymore, Dummett, etc. I mean, it's just not good enough. But the owners will sort that out. They've only been in, 16, 17 months, a year? Whatever it is, over a year. So that will get sorted and it will take time, but we cannot rest our best players just for the odd game because we've just haven't got the replacement.
Yeah, exactly. Steve, I think you go to the channel membership sections and then to your membership, and then you should have an option to upgrade. I think I've never had to do it, so I honestly don't know, but that's what somebody said to me. You go into membership, manage, and then you should be able to change it. Nope, don't do Twitter. Twitter's cesspit. Facebook, we've got our group, remember, Through Black and White Eyes. It's a private group. You just got to answer a couple of questions and then you get accepted into it if you want to join it. My only concern is we haven't got momentum for the final, just lost our mojo. A win against Arsenal or even a performance would be huge. So Liverpool's our next game before the final. We'll come to that later on.
I'm going to respond to that one, sorry.
Yeah,
we played Chelsea in the semi-final, right, when I went down there.
I was there.
And I think leading up to that game, it was one of them I went to, we just weren't at the races. Well, we had a few dodgy games. And against Chelsea, it's probably one of the unluckiest games I've ever seen.
We got robbed.
Brilliant.
We got absolutely robbed.
And I think the same will happen in the final. I know it's up and down, but I think it'll be a different ball game in the final.
Yeah. And I think Jim's right as well. We've got to give credit to Bournemouth. They were the home team. They did put a lot of pressure on us. They closed us down a lot. I think a lot of teams now are a lot fitter than what they were at the start of the season. And that was one of the reasons why we got on top of games a lot, is because we could carry on longer than other teams. And now, like you mentioned, our squad isn't strong enough. Players aren't rested. They're now starting to feel it a little bit, especially playing a game every 4 days, where now we're going to be playing a game every 7 days. So we've got more recovery time. And once we get this cup final out of the way, we can just concentrate on the league again. So,
well, this season is, I mean, like you said, the final. Once the final's over, it's just the league. Next season, we've got a massive chance of being in Europe.
Yeah.
So we cannot go into Europe next season with that squad of players.
No.
It will burn out by November. So and I think the owners are probably looking like just to see if we do get Europe, which is a high possibility. But they're probably...
I think we're in Europe. If you forget about the table as well, because we're both in the final, Man United and Newcastle. If Man United finish in the top 4 or finish in the top 6, the place of that European place goes to the next league place, which is 7th. Yeah. I can't see us dropping out of 7th. I know our form's not been great, but I cannot see us going that long. So I think they're already preparing for Europe.
Yeah.
They just don't know which competition it's going to be.
Yeah. Well, whatever competition it is, that squad needs sort. You know what it is? I think this summer, I'm not saying a rebuild, but I think we need to make a lot of changes this summer, especially if we get Europe.
I think it is a rebuild. If we get Champions League, it is a rebuild because... we spoke about it before, didn't we? How many players in our current team are top quality Champions League players? And we came up with 4, didn't we? Or 5?
I think I had 5 or 6, but
I
was at the top of my head. I had Pope, Trippier, Botman, Bruno, Joe Linton, and I had Isaac because I think Isaac will be right.
Yeah,
and I think Gordon's going to be a hell of a player. Honestly,
we had this discussion before we joined, though, didn't we?
In a way, you could say Maxi, right? In a way, right? Just depends which Maxi turns up, right? But the rest is but the owners will sort that out. But it's gonna I think it's gonna be a big summer, mate. Honestly, I do. Not just for first team, for squad. Youngsters, you name it. I think it's going to be a big sum.
Nice. Is more shithousery becoming too common and with actually slowing down games? The problem is we're slowing down games when we're on the ball because we don't have Bruno. So I don't think Bournemouth really did that. I think we were the ones that were hanging on a little bit near the end. It was very frustrating. I've already got a mention about naming me last night, so I shared it again. I don't know what you're talking about, Paul. Sorry, mate. I was on night shift, so I haven't got a clue. I've literally been dead to the world for the last 5 days. Or on John, maybe. I don't know. We're in Europe for sure. I have 100% faith in that. Just wish people would jump off cliffs because of a few draws. Yeah, it is frustrating.
I mean,
to be fair.
I'll tell you this one as well. Some people might not know the stats. Are Brentford having a good season?
I'm having a cracking season.
Right, they've had 10 draws.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
So there you go.
I know. It's mental.
And we've still only lost 1 game, and that was in the 96th minute to Liverpool.
Yeah.
So we're doing something right. There's just something missing. And it's the forward line. There's something not clicking. and it's been up and down all season. The defence is solid. It always will be. I know Burn had a dodgy game, but they're still solid.
Yeah, without a doubt.
They're going to pick the points up the rest of the season, but there's something missing in the forward line, especially when Bruno's not in.
Without a doubt. Maxi is nowhere near as good as the players first mentioned. No, we agree with that. That's why we said we might put ASM in, or maybe not. And hi to Nelly the Voice. Glatch is in the chat. Hey, Paul and Les, we meet again indeed. Even Barry, Gary, love the show. Keep it up. Thanks, ADZ. Thanks for joining us as always. How about a Cabalist show because of Wembley and the corporate box? So you've lost me, Paul. Honestly, I haven't got a clue what you're talking about, mate. I really don't. I haven't been on YouTube or anywhere for the last 5 days, mate. So I haven't got it. I've been very tired. 60 hours. And this is our first show in 6 days, I think, which is crazy because that never normally happens. But life gets in the way, mate. But I won't be doing a collaboration with other shows. They won't want me involved. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. I'm just going to do my own stuff and stay out of the way of everyone. Other than PDP, because he's a good lad, and there's a few other channels from 20 Magpie 24/7 and other channels that aren't Newcastle channels. And your channel as well, Paul, of course. Please subscribe to Paul's channel. He's a really good guy. He gives everyone a shout out. But I'm not interested in a collaboration. I've got lots on as it is. So one loss in February is unbelievable. It is. The forwards haven't been steady and healthy, honestly, all season, so let them get used to each other, give us a boost. There is that as well, isn't there? I mean, at the end of the day, Isak got himself injured. Wilson was out again with a hamstring after scoring. We're chopping and changing all the time. It makes it difficult for a settled team up in that top line. And without Bruno there as well, you need Wilson, don't you?
Well, you could argue and say that centre forward's the most important part of the team. And I know some managers come out and say defence win leagues. I personally think goal scorers win leagues. Goal scorers, they're the ones who turn up when the game's flat and they get the winner, the stars. And I think, you know what it is, next season, we cannot go into next season with Callum Wilson as our number one man. We cannot. Because as much as I love the bloke, even Luke Edwards is starting to put it on, and you know what I think of Luke, but even he's starting to put on the questions, the Callum Wilson questions that need to be because it's happened again, and it's going to happen again and again and again. Yeah. And I said this time and time again, he cannot be the main man. He has to be the replacement for somebody or something like that. We can't rely on him because he's getting older now. And I love the bloke. I tell you.
No, we all do. I mean, he kept us up. He scored goals that are very important. But unless you're playing week in, week out, like Alan Shearer was, apart from his big injuries, like Demba Ba was, Cisse, you're not going to be scoring enough goals to propel us up the league, are you?
No, you're not. And look, I mean, apparently Haaland's injury prone, but how many games has he missed this season?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they've managed them quite well.
It's just fair. You look at the best teams in the league, and they've all got that goal scorer who plays week in, week out. It's very rare they get injured, and when they do get injured, they're out for about 4 games or something like that. I think Harry Kane missed 5 games once, but very rare Kane's injured. It's very rare Salah's injured. It's rare Haaland's injured. Yeah. And this is why Rashford. This is why they're at the top, because they've got goal scorers who they can rely on.
And look how much of a run Rashford's gone on. What has he scored, like 11 or something like that, almost something crazy.
I think he scored about 15 goals last season or something like that. It's something.
He's gone on a massive run.
It's now competitions or something, but
Maxi was dragged off early for being useless. No, he definitely wasn't. Willock went off with hamstring problems. So obviously we'll come on to that a little bit later as well, if we remember. While we've got you all, don't forget we've got these on sale. If you want to contact myself or Liam, get yourself a mug, a Wembley picture, a Wembley t-shirt. We've got badges. Please check out Newcastle Benfield. They've got a game coming up. Like I say, Baz sent me, you get £1 off. Tuesday the 14th of Feb, so tomorrow night, if you don't want to be taking the missus out and you want to watch some football, kickoff's at 7:30, so go and check it out. This was hilarious.
Yeah, no.
So all the group of Newcastle fans going down to Bournemouth, they told one of his mates that it was fancy dress for everyone, and he came as Ali G, walked into the station, and nobody else was in fancy dress. Shithousery at its best, and he actually pulls it off. To be fair, he actually looks quite good.
I've seen the video. It was class, that like.
I'm quite impressed with it personally.
Class.
Is Haaland not? No, he just went off. He went off after they were winning 3-0, didn't he?
He went off at half time. I mean, Sky said he had a niggle, but I just think Pep took him off because it was 3-0 at half time.
Exactly. Yes, Miggy was always going to have a blip. There's no way he could carry on the run he was on. But he might have been able to had he had Bruno playing him in. He's been making all the runs all the time. So it's having someone to find him has always been the issue. Steve, thanks for upgrading. That's absolutely amazing of you. Really appreciate that. We're going to get hammered in the final then. I'm always wrong. That's good. I like that. You saved yourself at the end. We've got 6,563, I think it is, Paul. I think so. Something like that. Couldn't see what Maxi did to get. No, Maxi did. What Maxi wasn't injured. It was Willock. Thigh injury. I don't. Is something I don't know because obviously I was at work when I saw the end of the game, but I thought Maxi finished the game.
No, he went off.
Did he?
Yeah, Miggy went off, didn't he?
Miggy went off. I saw that. I can't remember seeing Maxi go off.
Yeah.
Again, I missed the last 15 minutes of the game because I was in work starting at 7, unfortunately.
But they reckon they'll all be fit apart from Willock.
Yeah, Willock's going to be an unfortunate one, isn't he?
But me and you said there was a risk. And
have we lost Big Joe? I don't think he's been suspended yet, has he?
No, he's got one now.
Yeah. If he gets a yellow card on Saturday against Liverpool, he misses the final. So that's another worry, isn't it? Oh, he doesn't.
No, he misses the next league game. Misses 2 league games. 2 league games.
Oh, Jesus.
So
no plates on sale. Haaland fine. No, as far as I'm aware, Haaland's fine.
Sky reported that they think he's got a thigh injury, right? But I've just got a feeling Pep took him off, and he's just saying he'll be fit next year.
That would be nice, Paul. But like I say, we're just doing it to enjoy it. As long as you guys enjoy watching us and listening and joining in through the chat, we're happy to carry on how we are. We're just letting it tick away. Joe won't miss his final as long as he doesn't get a straight red. There we go. I'm out on another channel as well. Paul, you always do. You're a good guy. J7 on 9, safer final unless he gets red against Poole. Perfect.
Is that right?
Could be because it's an immediate suspension, isn't it?
Do you know I didn't get the rules these days? The same thing happened with Trippier, right? People thought Trippier was suspended, and we were saying he's not, right? But is that because of So what the hell is the difference between getting a straight red?
I guess it's serious, dangerous foul play, I suppose. So
you know what it bloody well is, man. Honestly, why didn't they just make it simple? If you get a booking in the league, you miss the league game. If you get a booking in the cup, you miss a cup game. I
guess because you could get a suspension in the final, and then you won't be able to carry it on till next season potentially. So they run it into the league domestic competitions, don't they? Bruno getting a red was very disappointing, but it happens. It was a definite red. He didn't mean it, but it just it's part and parcel of football.
That's why he's missing all the games because he goes straight red.
Zimo, who's he had a hell of a game, might be good to look at him for left back. We need somebody who can attack at left back. We really do. Maxi just pretended to hurt his leg because he was tired. There is that as well. The show is very good. I got multiple trolls on my. Paul, there's trolls everywhere, mate. You've just got to learn to ignore them and block them. I'm becoming a bit of a king of that now.
I am.
You do? Are you getting them as well?
I've upset the whole Manchester fan base. I'm up to 200,000 views on that tweet.
That's mental.
And I'll tell you what the excuse was. But basically, I said when I put a picture on after the game yesterday, and I said, "Why did Man United fans not wear merchandise? Like hats, scarves, you name it." Anyway, I had a few people saying, it's because of the Glazers and all that. And I thought, well, that's fair enough. Another one said, it's because it's Leeds away. And I thought, fair enough. 90% of the fan base have tweeted me back saying, only kids wear shirts. So
I love that.
It's on tonight. So when we're going to Wembley in 2 weeks' time, when 30,000 Geordies are wearing tops,
Black and white, yeah.
We're our kids, apparently.
Yeah, of course we are. So we've obviously got a group chat going. There's a few people in there saying that Maxi did nothing in the game. I was quite surprised at that because he was the main reason why we equalised. I just want to highlight a couple of stats from him. Dribble attempts, 5. Successful, 5. That's the most out of any player we've had ever, really, to be fair, with dribbles. But he also won 6 out of 9 ground duels. 7.4 rating is not too bad either. Now, sometimes people look at Maxi, and if he's not creating things every 15 minutes, people start pointing the finger at him. And I think it's harsh at times. But he actually put in the hard work. He kept the ball in, took it back, ran through a couple of players, played a lovely through ball to Sean Longstaff, who hit a very good effort, which is nice to see, a decent effort on target. Keeper saves it. Almiron comes in on the right and slots it home brilliantly. Without Maxi, that goal doesn't happen. It's as simple as that. Now, I'm always in the critical side of Maxi sometimes. I mean, there was one point in the second half, he was right in the corner flag and he was lazy getting up and lazy getting back. But then I realised Isak was covering his position, so he didn't have to sprint back and waste his energy. Is it that people see that sometimes and don't realise that people are actually covering his position and they just look at Maxi and go, well, why is he not back yet?
I mean,
it's frustrating at times, but don't get me wrong.
Yeah, you could look at it in a few ways because in one way he can't win because when he's going forward too much, he's not defending enough. When he's defending enough, he's not going to forward too much. But you could say Burn had one of his worst games for a while. Was it because Maxi was in front of him? I don't know. Possibly. You don't know. But when it comes to... I get where Eddie Howe's coming. He wants all his team to defend and to work their socks off, this, that, and the other. But once we get a few players in the summer, and if Maxi does say, you could do what Robson did with Robert all them years ago and just basically let Robert do what the hell he wanted.
Yeah.
Right. And I think at times, especially at home, Maxi might have to do that to get the best out of him. So that's where you get a left back in who's capable of basically somebody like
forward and taking defenders away from Maxi, which he has the issue at the moment, doesn't he? Because we can't.
Ashley Cole's a prime example of it. Yes, Ashley Cole could defend and go forward, and it didn't matter. It didn't matter who we had in front of him. He was that good. So if we got somebody similar to that, especially at home to lower teams in the league, you could tell Maxi just to go out and attack them. So, but Eddie's not going to do that, is he? Because everybody has to work in Eddie's team. So
exactly.
But,
Mark, I'll respond to this one. Who didn't give the ball away? Because everyone did. And everyone gave it away a lot. Dan Burn, Sean Longstaff did, Willock did. Maxi gave the ball away a lot, but he still had 5 successful dribbles. That's more than anyone. And he still won 6 out of 9 ground duels, which shows that he does put the work in. But again, without him, we wouldn't have scored that goal.
I get where people are coming from with him, mate.
Yeah, so do I. But we've also got to praise him for when he does something good as well, which a lot of people don't seem to be willing to do at times.
He's splitting the fan base, him, at the minute. Do I think he's going to be here next summer? At this moment in time, I've got no idea. If you told us 3 weeks ago, would have said, nah, he's away. I said he had the end of the season, and obviously he has now, but I still don't know if he's going to be here in the summer.
No, I mean, it's going to be the big question, isn't it? It all depends on how he performs. We all want Diaby to come in. I think the owners like Diaby. It's kind of, we're now put our hopes on signing Diaby as fans because we know how good he is. I like that Leo at AC Milan. I think he would be an upgrade as well. Probably cost us too much money though. But we do need two wingers. We need someone who can basically mirror what Almiron's doing at the moment when it comes to goals. But again, I mean, Maxi has been injured for a while. Like Eddie Howe says, it takes him a run of games to be at his best. He's only started 2 games in a row now. He's got I class that as an assist the other night because without that run and that pass to Sean Longstaff, that goal doesn't happen. So we've just got to let's just give him a bit of time. It's hard playing away to Bournemouth. They're not. I know they're in the bottom 3, but they still made it difficult for us. And like we said again, every time Maxi got the ball, there was 3 players around him.
Didn't rule out Bruno's influence either on every player on that pitch.
Yeah.
And I know, just see what Maxi's like in a few games' time at home when Bruno's on the pitch. Hopefully we'll see the best of him then. And I didn't think it was his worst game of the weekend by any stretch. I've
thought the whole team was poor, to be fair.
I thought, apart from Trippier,
even Tripp's gone away a few times as well. I mean, everyone did, to be fair.
I had Trippier. I think I had Trippier down as man of the match. I was a bit tipsy and pissed at the time, but I had him down as man of the match for us. But he wasn't great either. So it was one of those games. Honestly, it was.
It really was. Phil, to answer that question, you'd never have 11 men behind the ball all the time. So there's always a striker up front. So Maxi was technically that striker. So you've got 10 behind the ball doing their job. Maxi would then get back into position and then you can take it from there. But you can't always be in the game. Sometimes, especially how far up the pitch he was. He was in the corner flag. I found it a bit frustrating that he didn't seem to get back quick enough. But like I say, people are covering and he then becomes that attacker. As long as he gets back as quickly as possible, there's no harm doing in that, in my eyes. For this one, the free agents, the reason why is it takes up a squad space. You have to give them a contract. It's going to be more than 6 months. Is there any free agents that Eddie and everyone feel could improve the squad, the team? They've always said it's the right player at the right price. And if the player doesn't improve the first 11, they're not just going to fill gaps. And that's probably why they didn't go into the free market, because there probably isn't anybody who could do that. And a lot of them want massive wages when they're on free transfers. And we're already close to our FFP on wages, aren't we, apparently? So, that's that one answer. Let's see, then Gordon had to take one for the team due to Emerson Shite passing. Just a good job. Trips was on the goal line to stop them scoring. That was Dan Burns' fault. There's nobody else to blame other than Dan Burn when it comes to the goal being potentially going in.
I've got a feeling, at some point this FFP's got to be changed or not.
It's got to be.
Yeah, I think people like, what it is? I don't agree with Simon Jordan, but Jordan had a great point here that day. He says, we want owners to buy football clubs. He says, why aren't they allowed to invest in a football club? Because of these rules saying they can. He says, it's like you're buying a business, but you can't invest in it. And he says it's wrong.
Well, they're trying to make it a fair game, aren't they? Because there's owners that are own smaller football clubs who then could invest loads of money and put them in the crap. They get relegated and then they decide to try and sell up, or it's trying to make it a fair. It's like in horse racing. You've got a horse that's phenomenal. You've got a horse that's okay. So then they handicap the horse that's phenomenal to give the other horse a chance to catch up. Yeah. I mean, that's what FFP basically is.
I mean, it's like the owners and directors test needs to change. I mean,
that was a nightmare.
They know how much they should be able to get like something so these owners can prove this is how much I've got, right? And there should be some form of contract that basically states that if your club gets relegated, you can't put them in the shit. You have to clear that and keep them on a steady foot, and then you can sell the club, right? But you've got to prove that you've got the money to do, right? And I just think Jordan's right when he's saying you can't invest in a club because of these stupid rules and the way they've got them. And it's all to benefit the big clubs. That's all it's for.
Yeah. I've heard this about the kit. I love the kit. Honestly, I just don't get it. Took responsibility for the goal. I thought it was Burns' fault. I thought it was Burns' fault, but that just shows you how good Trippier is as a captain and deflecting it off the person who made the error, basically. So yeah, I mean, wasn't the greatest pass, but he should have done a hell of a lot better. And the way he reacted was terrible. We need to be patient. Yeah, I mean, I've said this on Twitter a lot. We need to be patient. We're only a year into it. You know, we've got round circles and square pegs at the moment at times, but we are going to get there. It is going to get better.
I mean, the owners have made a gamble with a midfield position this month and last month. I really believe they were looking at midfielders. I don't think they were available, or they weren't available for what the price they wanted to pay for them, or something like that. But they've made a gamble. I thought it was a big gamble because one injury, one suspension, and then lo and behold, Bruno's out suspended and Willock's pulled his hamstring. So it was a gamble. But the difference is it's not Mike Ashley in charge. So we know we'll not go into next season.
Oh, everything hit the post.
Are they?
Yeah. Oh, it's out now. Now Liverpool are going to break away. And they're breaking away in numbers here. They've got 4 on 2. They picked the right pass. I think they have. And they've scored. On the counter-attack, Salah. Salah scored on the counter-attack. So everything had hit the post from a corner. And it was so unlucky because it was a great header. And as soon as the ball went to the edge of the box and they played the pass out to the left, there were 4 on 2. And he's picked the right pass into the middle and Salah's got his foot on it. The keeper's committed himself, Pickford. So I think he's... I don't know what Pickford's doing, to be fair.
No, I've got Nick. What the hell is the goalkeeper taking that?
Yeah. Oh, it's so unlucky with that header as well. Comes back to have a shot, comes to the edge of the box, a little 1-2, burns down the left, and you can see the Liverpool players are just out sprinting the Everton players, and he's picked the perfect pass. Pickford's expecting it to go to Nunes. Oh, it's not Nunes, the other player, and then Salah's just got there first, and he's just put it into an empty net. That's frustrating.
You know, it is Jamie Carragher's gone, wait, you know, when are they going to, stop putting biased commentators on a game?
Oh, I know.
You know, it really pees me off that. Put Gary Neville on this game. You know what it is? He doesn't care about any of them. I just don't get it. You've got Gary Neville on the Manchester games, and you've got him on the Liverpool game.
I know. Makes me sick. Right, Trippier. We've set big standards and we've had a good season up to now, but we haven't achieved anything yet. We're only just halfway through. We've got to stay together as a team and keep believing on to the next one. It's what you want to hear, isn't it, really? Everybody knows the season's only halfway. Everyone knows there's a cup final coming up. Getting to a final is an achievement, but when you get to the final, you want to win it. So, do you think the cup final has been a distraction or not?
In a way, it will be, because players will be worried about injuries and bookings and stuff. I mean, nobody... I tell you what, Trippier, Eddie Howe will come out and say, no, it's not a distraction. But if you're a player and you know there's a final coming up in 2 weeks' time, you're going to have it in the back of your mind that I could get an injury here. And I bet you, when Willock did his injury, the first thing that came into his head was the final.
See, I disagree with that, and I'll tell you why. Because he got it strapped and he tried to go back out again.
Did he?
Yeah.
I didn't say that. I was pissed.
Yeah, he got you. He went to the touchline, got his leg strapped, and went back out there and tried to give it his all. And then 5 minutes later, he's like, "Nah, got to come off." So
you could, and then in other ways, you could say it's not because Man United don't look like it's been a distraction for them. You know, a cup final.
Maybe not fighting.
Yeah, you could look at it a different ways. Personally, I think we've hit a bit of a patch where we're struggling a bit, and I think we're a bit tired. I think we're a bit leggy. Our sharpness is gone, but that'll come back as soon as the final's over. God, how many games are we gonna have? 1 a week.
Well, a week, yeah. Maybe 2 at the push with the rescheduled game against Arsenal. But other than that, not bad. Look who's turned up. Just 40 minutes.
Hello, guys. Hello, guys. I had a huge blunder. It was a huge Maro award in behind the scenes. So it's about around 6 p.m. It's 5 UK time. I went to have 1 or 2 games of Call of Duty Mobile. It's online gaming. And like 3 hours later, I realized I'm almost out of battery, and it's 9 o'clock 8 UK time. So I was charging a phone, listening to you guys, and yeah, great.
You'd be late to your own funeral.
Probably. I would have been late to my own graduation party if they didn't tell me it was half an hour before. Then it really was.
Okay,
Brilliant.
Just about to end the show there, weren't you?
I know. We're getting close to it. 20 minutes left. Eddie Howe, I feel like a Newcastle man. I'm fiercely determined to be successful for the club and the project. The club in all phases. I work incredibly hard to try and give everyone connected with the club some memories and emotions that benefit its size. I mean, he gets it, doesn't he? And he's already done that. I mean, I tweeted someone. I said, look, we hail Kevin Keegan as a hero. We have a statue of Sir Bobby Robson, but there were nothing as managers, absolutely nothing. And Eddie Howe has a chance to win something, and if he does that, he becomes a god, and he deserves a statue outside St James's Park even before he even retires from this football club. I mean, Mara, the guy gets it, doesn't he? We're going to Wembley.
Yeah, absolutely. He already did. He has already done more than a lot of managers that were here for years and years. And not just that, as you said, he gets it. When you hear him, his interviews or his post match interviews, the way he talks about the club, the way he talks about it's here, no worries.
Yeah, I think you need to take it down now. I think that's what's actually stopping us from winning games.
I don't know. I'm afraid. I said I will keep it until the Carabao Cup final. So
that is true.
We'll
that
see.
Is true.
Yeah. So hopefully it has something in it. So the way Eddie Howe speaks, the way he speaks about the club, the fans, the culture, the history of the club, everything. You just feels it's not just another job for him. You can see that he is very much involved and has taken into the culture and everything, and that he would really like to be the one who finally brings a trophy. And as you said, that would instantly make him a Newcastle legend. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well,
and
I players legends as well.
Yeah, and hope for one thing that he will be the first English manager to win a Premier League trophy too.
Yeah. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Yeah, let's just concentrate on the Carabao Cup final first of all.
Sure.
Eddie Howe's got us to a final in the first season. Keegan and Robson never got us to a final, exactly.
Yeah, but Falsenineltd did.
I know. I mean, that was the only good things they did. Now you got us relegated twice.
I said this a few years ago. Whoever wins the first trophy, especially with these owners, I wouldn't be surprised if the name is stand for them.
I agree with that.
What was that noise?
Oh, that's Morrow's dog and a toy. That would be nice for other players to get a statue. Peter Beardsley get a statue or someone like that. Yeah. There's the league table. Obviously, we're still fourth. We're 2 points ahead of Tottenham. I said if we win our game in hand, we're 5 points ahead of them, which then puts us 10 points ahead of Brighton. But Brighton also have a game in hand on us, but 2 games in hand on Spurs. I think Brighton are definitely a dangerous team, but so are Fulham and Brentford aren't too. I don't think Brentford will falter off a little bit, but Brighton have still got a chance because of the squad that they've got. They've actually got a better squad than us, really, when you think about it. But here is the last 6 results, and it's not great reading. We've only scored 3 goals in 6 games. There've been 6 draws in a row. But Gary, and there's one thing that I do take away from this is that we've went behind against Bournemouth. We've managed to draw the game. Drawn at Arsenal isn't a bad result. Drawn away to Palace sometimes might not be seen as a bad result. I thought it was because of how well we played. West Ham came and did a job on us because we had no Bruno, and Declan Rice was brilliant, and Paqueta scored, which was a bit of a pain. Leeds would deserve to win. We just didn't take our chances. But the one thing that I take from these 6 games is we didn't lose. And we could have lost. Last season, with Bruce or even with Eddie, we still might have struggled to get back into that game, and we possibly could have lost it.
Just look at them 6 games, and it's blatantly obvious where our strengths are and where our weaknesses.
Yeah.
Looking at them 6 games, 3 goals in 6 games isn't good enough.
No.
Plain and simple, right? I mean, if I compare to Leicester at the minute, Leicester have got 8 goals in 2.
Yeah, Leicester are on fire at the moment.
So
but why is that though? Madison's back.
Madison's back, and it's. But you look at how many goals we've let in. I mean, what was it? 2 goals.
Yeah, 2 goals. Yeah.
I mean, it's obvious where our strength is, but like I said, I rate our forward line. I rate Gordon. You've got to give a bit of time, obviously. I rate Miggy. I rate Wilson. I rate Isaac. But there's something not clicking up front, or wide width, or something. There's just something not clicking. The finishing's just not there. Time. We've saw it against Leeds. We saw it against Fulham. Good chances that we'll get missing. But I think they'll buy the odd defender in the summer, but I think it'll be mostly the forward line. They're going to improve next season.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I still think there'll be a left back. I still think there could be a right centre back. It's cover because I think Lascelles is going to leave. And then it's got to be... It's got to be further up.
Yeah.
We've got to think about a striker. We've got to think about a number 10, but maybe Gordon will be that player. I don't know. Does Maxi leave and then get replaced? We don't know. We're just going to have to wait and see. I think it's going to be 2-0 here. No, it's a great block. But here's the main reason why we are missing Bruno. 17 games, 10 wins, no defeats. Without Bruno, 5 games, no wins, 1 defeat. Points per game drops from 2.2 to 0.8. Goals per game drops from 1.8 to 0.8, which is massive. Points and goals almost the same. Goals conceded per game, 0.5 to 1.0. And shots conceded per game was 9.4 to 14.4. It just shows you how good he is as a number 6. And sometimes I wonder why we're looking for a number 6 to replace him, to move him forward. Because I think he's just too good in that position to replace him. Gary. It's a tough one, isn't it?
Because I reckon you put him further forward and he causes kick. I mean, what more can you say about him? Well, I'm trying to think around the rest of the league who relies on a player as much as we rely on him. And he's literally, I mean, when you go on about the spine of our team, he is literally the spine of that team. And Botman's great. Well, I love Botman. Pope's superb. But this guy just adds a different dimension every time he's on the pitch. Whether that's defending, whether that's he's getting back, whether that's his through balls for the midfielders, whether that's his through balls for the attackers, whether that's his commitment, his drive, everything. We're just a completely different side with him on the pitch.
Yeah, completely agree. Mauro is another type of Madison player that we're not looking at or mentioned, who could come in instead of Madison potentially.
Well, in a way, the guy from Lazio, the Serbian guy, Sergej Milinkovic-Savic, he's...
We've mentioned him, though. Anyone we haven't mentioned, do you think? I think Savic was linked, wasn't he?
He was linked, yeah, he was linked, and not just there were a couple of reports. We even supposedly spoke with his agent, and that they said that it's still a possibility for the summer window. He's a really good player, but in his mood, besides some young Brazilian players or Argentinians, like 19, 20-year-old, I can't remember now anyone of the similar profile. But if I can just say one more thing to just add on the thing you were mentioning before. So as Gary said, yeah, we really do rely a lot on Bruno, and we are a whole different team when he plays. But I think also we have lately became a bit how would I say, like one-dimensional. So we've been just doing all the same things, all the same actions over and over again. So it's always like on the right side. It's always like give the ball to Miggy and with trips overlapping, and we rarely use the middle and the left side. And this goal in the end was created on the left side. So ever since Maxi was injured, before the injury, we used to have some balance. But now after that, I think we like probably 90% of our attacks go through right, and they are almost all very similar. But when we had Bruno, there's always a moment of magic that you can play that nobody expects. But for most part, I think we've been read a bit, and that we need to change something. A player like Madison would offer us that option, somebody with creativity. But yeah, definitely need to change something, because as you can see, it's like I was just watching very concentrated, and then part of the game, it's like their players already know what we will do and already like running even before we make the final pass. And so it's a bit worrying, to be honest. And yeah, we just need to spread it a bit and have some creativity and flair, and just be able to swap wings and do different kinds of attacks, not just one.
Are we talking about players? I'm guessing the Newcastle 11. We'll be coming on to that later on, once we know injuries and who's available and who's not, because the team sort of picks itself, because Bruno will be back. We may have to recall. No, we definitely don't need to recall Hendrik. Yes, he's a very good player. We're going to come on to him near the end of the show. That's where we're lying to. Right. Go on then.
I've got a name that I think is going to crop up again.
Go on.
And I think that I wouldn't be surprised to see him in a shirt next season, and he fits the Eddie Howe mold, and that's James Ward-Prowse. You know why I think? Well,
because they're going to go down.
A bit more static.
And I think Southampton could go down at the end of the season.
I think they will.
How much is he going to go for? Because he's not going to stay at Southampton.
No, he's not. And it depends on that price, doesn't it? The price tag.
And he's going to be a cheaper version of Maddison, right?
True.
And we've praised Eddie Howe for getting the best out of the players. Look at Gordon in 2 games, right? It's been pitched for Everton, and you've already got Paul Merson saying, I didn't realise he was that good.
Yeah.
Right? So, Ward-Prowse fits the Eddie Howe mold. Premiership experience, he can take a free kick. It's very similar to Maddison, not as good. Very similar. About 26, isn't it?
Yeah.
Never misses a game, committed, will work his socks off. I wouldn't
40 mil's not a bad price, to be fair. For someone
I wouldn't
his quality.
in the summer. Like I think that could possibly happen. All depending on what happens with Southampton, but
I agree with that.
He's a bit more static than Maddison, like a bit more playing at the back, not as open and quick.
He's a Shelby-like. He's a Shelby.
More like Shelby-like, yeah. And just to mention this guy was mentioned in the chat, Daichi Kamada, the Japanese player. He is that sort of player. So he is like a Madison type of player. He's been having a tremendous season, and he's out of contract in the summer. So
yeah, he's a free. So
yeah, he would be a good option.
Yeah, definitely. I'm very interested. I think we mentioned him in the window as well, to be fair.
Yeah.
It's great that Wolf Lags are going to be at Wembley. I'm 50-50 on this one, to be honest with you, because it's Wembley. I like it at St James's Park because we make that unique atmosphere, and it's all the way around the ground. I hope the display is awesome. I don't know what it's going to look like, obviously, but I don't know. Should we be doing this for Wembley, or do you agree with it?
Yeah, 1,000,000%.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm all for it, mate, because from what I've got from the Man United fans, they'll just be sitting with face jackets then, and we'll have a full-on display on our side. I'm all for it, mate. Because you know what is, the players will come on the pitch, Man United will look and just see a few claps on that side, and then you'll see this cauldron over on that side. And I'm all for it. I think it's great.
Yeah. Mauro, are you happy to see the flags going to be there?
Yeah, absolutely. If the guys are up for it, if they are willing to do the work, it's absolutely something that's great to see, and also can be a lift to the guys on the pitch. Also, when, as Gary mentioned, you see Manchester United fans not even wearing a jersey, most of them, and then war flags doing what they do. It's amazing, and can only lift up players and do good things.
Yeah, that was going to be an amazing display, hopefully, and we'll hopefully have a good view of it. Brennan Johnson, yes, I'll be all over him if Forest went down, but I think they're going to stay up, and I think he'll stay at Forest for another season again, to be honest with you. Holy night. It's night. Obviously, it's great that we've got a few Geordies in the team, because they are literally there to let everyone know who plays for the team from obviously across the pond, how important this game is for us fans. You know, it's been so long since we've won a trophy. And like I say, literally the team that wins the first trophy, all those players will be remembered, even the ones that were on the bench, even the ones that played a bit part in us getting to the cup final and then winning it. Everyone will remember Lascelles, you know, taking one for the team and having his teeth knocked out and all this sort of stuff, because he was in the first game. Everyone's going to remember everyone. So it's great to see that. This is just a really quick one. Apparently, we're the second best away fans in the Premier League. Leeds are first. I was a bit surprised to see that. I thought we had the best away fans. I'm a little bit good about that. We need to book our ideas up. We really do. Right. The last topic, because we obviously mentioned the guy about replacing Shelvey. So it's now looking like a silly decision, Gary, to have let Shelvey go. I see both sides of the coin, because on one side of it, Bruno got that red card. We're now struggling because we can't rotate players, and he could have fitted in and done a job. The other flip side of the coin is he would have had a longer contract. He's on 90k a week as it is. That also then takes up a further space in the squad next season, where it doesn't now, when we've got, you know, a better chance of bringing more players on and bigger wages. It was a risk. Was it a risk worth taking?
I was all for Shelvey going. I was fine. But I thought at the beginning of the winter they needed a replacement before Shelvey went. So when Shelvey went, Eddie said, Ashworth even said this, one goes out, one comes in.
Yeah.
Now, I'm still not amazed, but I'm still shocked that they didn't bring anybody in.
But wasn't the one going out Gordon coming in?
No, not for
because
that.
he doesn't replace Wood for me.
No, he doesn't.
So
I don't know how he replaces, because he doesn't replace centre mid either. He doesn't replace Shelvey. So I think it was a risk, and it's looking like it was a mistake, and it's not a deadly mistake, because we're not in the relegation zone. We're not getting relegated, so it's not a mistake for that. But I think we're far too late in the middle of the park, and I thought we're far too late when Shelvey was here. So,
let's just say that Bruno didn't get sent off. We win 2, draw one of the last 3 games that he was missing. We'd all be saying, stroke of genius getting rid of John Joe. We've now freed up more space for the summer.
But it's just like, with him, hamstrings are funny. He could be out from anything from 2 weeks to 3 months. You just didn't know hamstring. Could go again. And, I mean, I can't believe I'm using Man United as a freaking example. But you look at Sabitzer, they got Sabitzer on deadline day, and it didn't break till 4:30 at night. And he was on a plane at 5 o'clock. So they managed to find something. And I don't know, we could have got a loan in or something with it. I don't know. I found it strange when Shelvey went that they didn't replace him. And it didn't seem to me like there was a plan, because I think Shelvey basically told them he wanted to go. I don't think they had any intention of getting rid of Shelvey.
Craig, Bruno's red card hasn't caused this. Football is football. Players run the risk when the playing at a high intensity and a high tempo, that they're going to get sent off. I don't think there's any team gone through a full season without having one player sent off at one point or suspended through yellow cards, have they?
Yeah, we play through. The problem is we play 3 midfielders, right?
Yeah.
And we've only had 4, right? So we had Joe Linton, Longstaff, Willock, Bruno, and Shelby. Sorry, that was 5. Shelby's gone, so we've only got 4. So if you get 1 injury, 1 suspension, you're down to 3, and you've got no midfielders. Now, I'm trying to think off the top of my head who can come in. Lewis Miley's been on the bench a few times, right?
Yeah.
Now, I think we have a talent on my hand in him. I've watched him a few times. He is basically, who could I describe him as? He's similar to Joe Linton, right?
Right.
But he looks a better finisher than Joe Linton.
Right.
He's a tackler. He's a tall lad. He's got a bit of pace about him. He's strong. But he's 16 years old. Now, Eddie's confirmed that he's done well in training. He's fit right in. He was on the bench at the weekend. And he said he's going to be on the bench against Liverpool. And he's playing tonight in the Leeds game or whatever game they're playing.
Mm-hmm.
But we're talking about a 16-year-old lad on the bench. Now, I think they've made a big risk. And Bruno will be back, obviously, but then Joe Linton's going to miss 2 games because he's going to get booked at some point in the next few games. It's just going to happen. So he's going to miss 2 games. So
apparently he's
personally, I
brother's
think
class as well.
Yeah,
apparently Millie's brother's class as well.
Yeah, he is. But I think it's blatantly obvious that Shelby's caught them out a bit. But I think they're far too weak. Far too weak.
Even with Shelby, we would still be pretty weak in the field, to be fair, though.
But the only thing...
But that's just the situation we're in. I mean, we're supposed to be trusting the likes of Anderson to come in and do a job, and we hardly seen him.
Well, after watching him against Sheffield Wednesday, he didn't look like a centre midfielder to me.
No, I always thought he was left forward, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And I'm trying to think if, and it could happen. It could easily happen. If another midfielder gets injured or suspended, who comes in for them? I think Eddie has to change the whole formation because you're talking about bringing youngsters in then, and you couldn't put Richie in there, could you? I mean, bloody hell, man.
Yeah,
I'm back a bit.
Richie was the only one that had a good game against Sheffield Wednesday, though.
Exactly. Well, to be honest, he was, but I mean, talk about putting Richie in and putting Anderson in the middle of the park. I mean, bloody hell, man. But it's funny. If this was Mike Ashley, I'd probably be tearing my hair. But it's not. And I know there'll be a plan. I just think they've took a bit of a gamble.
I would take a punt on Iwobi on deadline day. I don't think Everton would have sold him, to be fair. They already sold his Gordon. I can't see him selling another one. And he has actually been a bit of a surprise package for Everton. Fraser can play centre mid, but I don't think he's the right player for us in centre mid.
See what I mean? We're talking about putting right wingers into midfield.
Yeah, exactly.
We're talking about putting number 10s into midfield. It's just...
We've talked about a 4-2-3-1 as well, and you still need 5 midfielders.
Yeah. Eddie'll never admit this, right? But deep down, he'll be sitting in the back of his head, we should have bought a midfielder in January, whether it was a loan or whatever. He wouldn't have wanted Shelby to go and not replace. Absolutely no chance.
I agree with that.
I'm delighted Gordon's come, I really am. But it wasn't a particular position we needed in January. But sometimes a player becomes available and you've just got to go for it.
Yeah. I still think the summer's going to be massive for us. I really do.
I think it is. I think massive. It's going to be a huge summer. And you're going to see the likes of Lascelles, Dummett.
Yeah, because they're all coming out at the end of the contracts. So they're all going to be off the books and there's going to be places for us to fill. And then we've also got whichever European competition it is, we will be in Europe. So we've got to think about that as well. So it's going to be very, very interesting. A midfielder and another defender. We are light at left back. We are definitely light at left back. We need someone who can get up and down the pitch, defend and attack, and then help Maxi out when it comes to the attacking duties.
I did ask a Sam fan, and he seemed to think that maybe Ashby could play there.
Yeah.
Right, possibly. He says he's played similar position before. He isn't a midfielder, but they've seen him before play around that position. But he hasn't even been on the bench. So I don't know.
Again, I mean, I think he was bought for the future, wasn't he, to learn off Trippier? But he's meant to be that good. Then put him on the bench, I guess.
I mean, this is nothing against Paul Dummett, but Paul Dummett's on the bench and Ashby's not even on there. And it's like, maybe I know Eddie beds players in slowly, I get that. But he's putting a 16-year-old lad on the bench, but there's no sign of Ashby. And
maybe the 16-year-old lad's that good, though. That's the thing.
From what I've seen of him,
yeah,
I think we could have a talent here.
No, I hate seeing this. How many times did we see Shaw play as a CDM and how poor he was? He's great in defence. He's great alongside Botman. He's great at running into midfield with the ball sometimes as a surprise. Actually playing in midfield is very, very different to actually being a centre-back and surprising the opposition by running forward and doing something special. Leave him where he is. Because then again, if you put Shaw at centre-back, who are you playing as your centre-backs?
Right.
Because then you've got Lascelles and Botman, haven't you? And people don't want to do that.
I mean, you could look at it this way on Lewis Miley as well. It doesn't matter how old you are. If you're good enough, you can go in. I mean, look at Rooney when he was 6.
Yeah. I agree with that. Absolutely agree with that.
Cody Gakpo's got his first goal.
Has he? 2-0 Liverpool.
The playoffs at the weekend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mind, it was a tap in. Mind, I could have scored that.
You would have bled it over the bar.
Mind, it's Joe Linton probably would have bled it over the bar.
I didn't say covering. Right, Craig, you need to listen to what I said. I said we need a proper left back who can get up and down the pitch. Someone who can go past ASM and help on the attacking side of things. Not to cover ASM, to help him, to get free players off him when he's going forward. I can't be any more clearer than that. We need an attacking left back and also a left back who can defend. You've completely misquoted my words there, mate, massively. I think we honestly need 8 to 10. Whoa, I wouldn't go that far. That's never going to happen in the summer. I think 5 maximum. I think we'll end up going for in the summer because FFP will still be a problem. But I think 5 will massively improve us. It depends how clever we are in the market as well. Shez's just pied off Kevin Love. Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm not reading that. Liverpool 2-0. In time, C-Deg. Yeah, in time, definitely. But I would say 5 max. Connor Cody was looking behind. Never had a hold on play. Baz, does my post say your name? Was it directed at you? Oh, right. Well, I thought it was because I was talking about the left back situation and about the Maxi and what I said. I thought you misheard it and then quoted it. There we go. And I have just done 60 hours in 5 days, so that can be excused. I've only had 4 hours sleep. Anyone want a badge? A badge, anyone? Anyone? Badge? 30 quid? Off the back of a lorry. Steve's selling them.
Blocks Morrow's face.
Doesn't it? It's perfect. So Steve is selling the badges. He's still got some. He ended up ordering more. Apparently someone buys. Apparently if you go to Time Off Market, you can actually get one. But Steve's selling these ones direct, £30. If anyone wants one, please contact me. As far as I'm aware, all the badges are out for delivery. Steve's got to chase up a few for a few people, but everyone always gets their badge. It's as simple as that. Otherwise, I would not advertise them for them because we don't do that on this channel. We only do reliable people. Yes, it takes a while sometimes, but everyone gets their badge. A massive shout out to all the people who are members of this channel and keeping it going, because without you guys, we couldn't do this because of the running costs and everything that does it. So thank you so much to everyone who is a member. And the other great thing about you guys being members is we can afford to buy some prizes. Lovely Newcastle shirt, one of the back in the good old days, got a ticket on it, signed by Warren Barton. We'll be giving away that soon. Don't forget, we've got some lovely merchandise available and T-shirts for Wembley. So if you would like one of them, contact myself or Liam. And don't forget to check out Newcastle Benfield if you are in Newcastle and you want to watch a bit of football tomorrow night. You want an excuse to get out. We're taking the missus out and spending a fortune. £5, £2 for OAPs if you say Bar sent me, and you get to watch 90 minutes of some decent lower league football. So please consider that. The good lads. Let's see if we can quickly. Badgers are back. Woo! They're not. It's not woohoo. Could be the last time I do them. They're frightened to go past ASM in case he loses the ball when they're in the shit because he won't. But see, that's not right though. See, this is the old Maxi, right? What I've seen in the last couple of games, I've seen Maxi getting back and making tackles. So I'm sorry, Mark, I disagree with you because 6 out of 9 ground duels shows that he's putting his foot in and he's trying. Yes, he's not a great tackler because it's not his game, but he's adapting and trying. And the reason why Dan Burn is afraid to go past him is because he hasn't got the legs to get back. That's the problem. And Dan Burn's not an attacking left back, and we know that. Not get up and score. That was against Leicester. It was a while ago. He's done it once all season. Has he assisted at all? Look at all the top teams. Look at Arsenal, Man City, Man United. Look at how many assists and goals their wing backs have. Look at Luke Shaw, how well he's improved under Ten Hag.
Not many people have got a 6'5" left back.
Yeah, exactly. I love Dan Burn. We've said this. He's a makeshift left back. He's a centre back by trade. He's a makeshift left back that happened at Brighton, and he's doing really well. But he's not the answer for top 4, is he?
No. If you told me that centre back next season will be Burn and Botman because Shaw was injured, I'd be perfectly happy with that.
Yeah, definitely.
Perfectly happy.
Yes, Paul, we were the first. Because it's not me who gets anything for these badges. It's Steve. It's all Steve sort of stuff. So they are brilliant badges. And he's 6'7". But yeah, he's massive. But he's not a top 4 left back. And that's the standards we need to aim for now. Top 4 left back. Arsenal have got one. Man City have got one. Man United have got one. I'd take Luke Shaw in a heartbeat. A lot of people on here said they wouldn't, not as you guys, but in the chat, said they wouldn't even touch Luke Shaw. And look at him now, he's flying.
When was it?
When we were linked with him in
because I was going to say Shaw was probably one of the best players, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Team has been really good without ASM. If he plays, there any amount of reasons or excuses why he doesn't work or perform. Funny how no one complained about Burn until ASM played. I've always said Burn's not being the best. I've always said that Burn is doing a great job defensively, but he's not doing enough in the final third. Every time, and I watched, it was the game at home a couple of weeks ago, and it reminded me, Cucurella, how poor he was against West Ham. Every time he got the ball, he went backwards. And that's what Dan Burn does as well. When ASM gets further forward, or Gordon, or anyone, when the ball's played back to Dan Burn, it slows right down because his first touch isn't as good as what an attack-minded left back would be. And he plays the ball sideways or backwards. He very rarely goes forward with the ball. Just watch it, and you'll see what I'm talking about. And Dan Burn is not a top 4 left back. It's as simple as that. He's a makeshift left back. He's a centre back. And I would have him in the centre back alongside Botman, like Gary said, any day of the week, but not a left back. Because Miggy's a different breed in my eyes. I mean, the flip coin on Maxi, it's we've covered it. Burner's part, yes, he is part of the best defence, but he's also part of the worst attacking team. And I mean, we must be mid-table for scoring goals. And that's the balance you've got to try and get correct without. Would Arsenal score as many goals down the left-hand side if they didn't have Zinchenko? Or would Man City score as many goals if they didn't have their left back? Would Man United be scoring goals easily down the left-hand side without... Look at how good Almiron is on the right-hand side, and why he's so good. It's because Trippier is a further forward all the time. He knows he can get back, and he knows how to position himself correctly as a forward-thinking right back. And that's the reason why Almiron's got all the goals that he's got this season. The reason why the left side, and when it wasn't Maxi, it was Willock, and they worked well as a team defending. But when they were going forward, where's the goals? There isn't any.
Egan did it twice, Pat. Right, in the 90s. 92, we saw David Kelly, who was top scorer in the league for when we went the Premiership. People were in uproar about it. But
I was as well. I thought, what the hell we're doing?
Yeah, he sold Mickey Quinn that season as well.
He did, yeah.
Because he thought at the time Mickey Quinn was playing well, but got rid of him because he thought, nah, it's not where I want to go in the next level. Yeah. We're not on about getting rid of Dan Burn. We're just on about moving him to centre back.
Yeah. And as a cover, and he's a cover at left back. He's a cover at centre back. He's a great squad player. And I think Dan Burn even had it in his head when he came to Newcastle. He's a fan. He wants to play for us. He'll do any job he's asked of him.
Yeah.
But he wasn't expecting to be starting every game at left back.
No. And you know what it is? Next season, right? If our fullbacks were Trippier and Burn next season, which Trippier probably will be, right?
Yeah.
The first thing you're going to think, right, is you know these two are good players, right? But what's the one thing you're going to do to Burn and Trippier as an opposition manager? You're going to attack them with pace, the two of them, right? That's the first thing you're going to do. You know the two of them are good at what they do, but pace can kill the best player, honestly.
Yeah, of course it can.
And I've seen it happen. I watched Craig Bellamy absolutely destroy Laurent Blanc up here. Laurent Blanc was one of the best centre-backs the world ever had. Bellamy destroyed him. Ferguson pulled him out the side, and he hardly ever played again for Man United that day. Yeah, his pace destroyed him that day. And
absolutely agree.
And Dan Burn's been one of our best players this season. He really has. He can be our left back for the rest of the season, absolutely. But he can't be our left back going into next season.
He's just trying to wind Mauro up, Peter. Don't ignore him. Ignore him, mate. Yes, Almiron races back and Buster's Almiron's a different breed, but we need a better left back. And you can keep saying he's in the best defensive partnership, but we scored. Did I say 2 goals or 3 goals?
3 goals.
3 goals in 6 games. And the defence also has a duty to actually chip in with goals. And how many goals have our defenders scored? Trippier's got 2 this season. Shaw's got 1.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Last season, we actually relied on the likes of Lascelles and Shaw and Trippier to chip in a lot more, and they did. So maybe there's another thing. Look. This isn't.
I'm not having to go with Burn here, but just look what Enrique used to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Him and Gutierrez, the link up here at times was phenomenal.
Or Santon too.
Yeah, and this is not anything against Dan Burn. It's not. He is part of the best defender. Be one of the best defenders for us. One of our best players this season for us. Sorry.
Yeah, he has.
But you need to look to the future, and the future is we need a pacey fullback who can defend and attack.
Yeah.
And put Dan Burn in his place where he's meant to be, centre back.
Yeah, centre back. Yeah.
And I'm telling you now, if you'd have told Eddie Howe would have started this season with, in his mind, Matt Targett's my left back, right?
Yeah.
He never probably had an intention of putting Dan Burn at left back.
No. I think he did his cover potentially, but then he thought he had Lewis and he had Dummett and that they were going to chip in, but they didn't. He's got 1 in the cup, and that's it. Talking about Premier League stats at the moment. ADZ, thank you so much and welcome to the family. Really appreciate that. I want to miss that one. Need a better left back, but we've already bought Gordon to replace ASM. He plays exactly like Almiron, but on the left. There you go. But we still need somebody who can support both of those players, Gordon and SM, or whoever it is. We need a left back who can get up and down, get crosses in, who can cross a ball properly, because Dan Burn can't really cross a ball in my eyes. But I love Dan Burn as well, though. It's one of those ones where, because we love our defence so much, it's hard to criticise them or to say, let's move on to another one or sign a better player, because we love Dan Burn for who he is. But like Kevin Keegan did, like you said, getting rid of David Kelly, getting rid of Andy Cole when he got rid of Andy Cole to bring in Les Ferdinand. All these decisions were made to better the team and to give us a better chance of winning the Premier League. Dan Burn will become a squad player because of his age. We need to be looking forward and finding a left back who can get up and down the pitch and support in the attacking sense as well. It was Leicester in the Cup. It was at St James's Park. In the quarterfinal, And it's great having options. Exactly. If Dan Burn gets injured at the moment, we have Lewis to come in. Oh, dumb it. So
Target's close from what Eddie was saying.
oh, that's good.
Target. So
And you'll see a difference of Target players. You'll see a difference because Target is quick enough to get up and down the pitch, and he understands his position. He understands how to play that role perfectly. Maxi's a better player when Target plays, I think, personally, because they complement each other quite well. I know they've had a bit of a falling out apparently because Maxi doesn't do his work, but I think because Eddie Howe's coaching him properly, you might see it'll be better. No, he couldn't finish his soup, could he? He'd dribble all over the place. People used to moan about Target not getting forward enough, but he wouldn't because he doesn't trust the SM to cover him. Target got forward a lot more than what people remember. I always saw Target trying to get behind Maxi at that. Maxi just didn't release the ball enough. I still rate him as a left back, as a defender, but not as an attacker. This is the difference.
I rate Burn as a left back, but I'm using my manager head here, I'm as a manager, and the future is not Dan Burn at left back. I'm sorry. And
I mean, let's face it, we've discussed at the start of the show, and nobody disagreed with us. We have 6 Champions League potential players.
Mm-hmm.
Dan Burn wasn't one of them. No one chirped up then and said, well, Dan Burn can play left back in the Champions League.
Yeah.
And do a job.
Look, Trippier's not the future, but Ashby's in to learn from, right?
Yeah.
That's why from Bournemouth. Botman's the future. Bruno's the future. Isaac's the future. These are the future players, right? And Dan Burn could spend the rest of his career here, and I'll be very happy.
Yeah.
But he will not be Eddie Howe's left back next season.
Yeah, exactly. As long as we get all the players we want, he definitely won't be his left back. I think we'll find a better one. Right, guys, that's gone on a lot longer than I expected. So thank you for making the show enjoyable, the chat, keeping it going, and putting your opinions across. It's all been fun, as always, but I'm absolutely knackered. I'm going to bed. I've got the kids tomorrow. So it should be fun. Mark was all about the money. He was all about the money. Oh, yeah, Andy Cole, had to sell them to buy, done all this sort of stuff, yeah. But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow for the Premier League review tomorrow night. So if you're not taking your missus out and you want an excuse to get out of Valentine's Day, just say Baz is on. You know, I'm sure they'll understand. I'm gonna go and watch Baz instead. I'm having my Valentine's meal in the afternoon because Jacob's got to go to the hospital in the afternoon to have his hearing test. So we're having dinner early. So if you want to join me and the Premier League gang from 8:15 tomorrow night, tune in. And then I'm sure cough still hasn't gone. We'll be doing a look ahead to the Liverpool game as well at some point. So until then, have a great night, everyone, and enjoy Valentine's Day tomorrow. Take care.
All right.